Alright, let me just roll up my sleeves for this one. I think I'm about to get in a fight. Because this was not a good film. And it's not only the critics that are mad, but it's also the fans. And they're both correct. So it's funny because in the movie Bliss, it does work as Owen Wilson trying to be more of a serious role. And he does try to have more on his plate and more conflict to deal with. And it's all there for you right in the very first few minutes. And then the world becomes as unsure as he does. But the thing is, Owen Wilson's character is literally the only person out of the film that does end up making somewhat any kind of sense. Him and his daughter, by the way, let me just say that because the daughter is in the film for quite a while. Now, the thing is, though, he does ignore this relationship that he has with his daughter because of all the wrong things that are happening in his life. And that's when we meet Salma Hayek's character. And to be completely honest, it becomes a romantic relationship. And once we start to get introduced to these crystals that they end up taking, that's when the two are most powerful, is when they are with each other. So I will say, in regards to this relationship, it does work for not only Owen Wilson's character, but Salma Hayek's character. She kind of shows him the ways of this new world that they are experiencing. I did forget to roll back up my sleeve, so I'm going to be doing that right now. But whenever the drugs do wear out, and they are drugs, I want to keep that in your guys' mind, because the worlds do get a little bit confusing at times, and you're not sure which is the real world and which is the fake world. Or is that fake world also not even considered the real world to them? So I hope that all makes sense, but it goes back and forth, because when they are off of the drugs, that's when they are reminded of their problems. And that as well also draws them back into taking the drugs and to trying to get back to that world that they are supposed to be so familiar with. For Owen Wilson, it's mainly trying to get back to his family, and for Salma Hayek, it's getting another fix. It's getting more drugs. It's building on to that world that she knows so well that Owen Wilson does not. As I mentioned earlier, it does feel like that Owen Wilson's character is the only person that does make sense in this film, because we are supposed to see everything through his eyes, at least at first glance. But it also comes later, because Salma Hayek is the one that teaches him everything. But she's always on drugs, or always so hooked up to her new world that she has created. We're not so sure if that real world is true or not. We're only left knowing that they both started in this kind of normal world and then grow together in this fake world. I did start to come up with a theory that may come into spoiler territory, so I won't talk too much about it, but let's just say it has something to do with Owen Wilson's drawings, and that's where I'll leave it. It's not that the film forgets about what it sets up in the beginning. It's that the new world, creates a whole other version of himself where he doesn't have any faults or any other problems to deal with. So he can just kind of live a new life, lead a new life with Salma Hayek. And the thing about that is the film's biggest fault. At the end of the day, the film really does just take a turn. It tries to be a bit too artsy, and I feel like that's where it got way too much. And I think if they would have kept at what was at the start of the film, then it would have been a lot simpler, but still very tense, and you can still include all the superpowers that they have along the way and everything like that. But I just didn't like the introduction of this other world and making it as futuristic as it was trying to be. And that was my biggest no-no for the film. There is a huge cameo, though, that was pretty cool and worth at least watching the second half of the film. But even that didn't amount to anything either. He was just kind of there. Now it's time for my rating. I am going to be giving Bliss a 1 on Letterboxd out of 5. And for the percentage out of 100, I'm somewhere in the teens, and it's low, but it's going to be a 15% for me. I was going to give it a 16, but I just docked in another point because now even thinking about it just an hour or two after watching the film, and I can't remember anything that is making me think anything different about what I watched 2 hours ago. So, with that being said, I will see you guys in the next video.